Welcome to the Digital Age Social Media and Digital Content Panel. My name is Kayla Alexander and I'll be your moderator for this panel discussion. And also I just want to start by giving a shout out to Randy and his team for putting on such an incredible event here in Toronto. So today we have the privilege of hearing from three speakers who have all paved their way successfully in the social media and digital content space. With their unique backgrounds and stories, I think they'll all be able to share invaluable information with us here today. So we live in a digital age where great engaging content goes a long way. Companies no longer have to fight or jump through hoops like they used to in order to build an audience and get access to people of influence. Now, companies are often partnering, especially with people of influence, to create content in the hopes of growing their business along with reaching a larger audience. And the digital and social media content also varies today as well. Now you can create brand stories, we have videos that are going viral, or we have a face that's associated with our brand. With all of this in mind, the panelists today will give us insight on how brands and companies and athletes and people of influence can partner and work together, tell us about what works best for their companies and the brands that they have created, and also give us tips and tricks on being successful in this space. So my three speakers are Buster, who's the founder of Hoops Nation, John Antonelli, the creator of Bball, and Mary Young, the CEO and designer of her namesake brand. So before we get started, would you guys mind taking some time to just tell us about yourselves, your story, and also share a little bit of what digital social media content you think you've done success in?
Amazing. So I'm Mary. I am the CEO and designer of my namesake clothing line, and we're a digitally native brand, and we inspire and ignite moments of self-love and acceptance through garments designed to empower women. And most of what we offer is women's lingerie and loungewear, and these are pieces of items that women wear every single day, so we have a touch point with them on a daily basis. And we've really grown our brand using social media, specifically Instagram, because it's a great way to actually develop a community. So we're selling more than a product, and we are actually delivering a message to both men and women about what value and acceptance looks like in today's day and age, and we love using social media to do that and to have a two-way conversation.
Sweet. My name is Buster. Unfortunately, I am a New York Knicks fan, but very happy to be here. I started a basketball outlet called Hoops Nation, host a bunch of shows for the NBA, and really have fun. And I think that's what I've found to be the best performing stuff on social media from my end, is when you have fun and it appears that way, other people are going to have fun watching it, and that's what I've seen perform the best.
I'm John Antonelli, and I started at Bball on Instagram, and it's all basketball content, and mainly the content I found success in has been like content that I've collaborated with others like photographers and many different people, and I also create a lot of my content and curate a lot of my content from many different platforms that I find the content is good. So that's about it.
So going on with that, how important do you think it is for us, or especially like whether it's companies, influencers, athletes, to understand social media and digital content in today's age? Like, why is there so much value in there?
I think in terms of like digital content, it's so important to have relative content. Obviously, if you're watching something today, you want to be watching something that happened 6 or 8 months ago. You want to know what's happening today. So understanding what's going on in your industry and your landscape is really important, and having good quality content. So like you said, Buster, if you're having fun, people are going to have fun. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, they probably aren't going to come back and watch what you're doing. So you want to be as authentic as possible to whatever that tone of voice is you're doing. So if you're on a more serious note and you're spreading news that is, more political, then that's the tone you want to have. But if you are having fun, basketball is a great sport. Obviously, you want to encourage people to get engaged in that. So having fun is a great way to even produce that content, make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing so that your audience really connects with it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, whether people like social media or they don't, that's where people are spending the majority of their days, glued to their phone, regardless of whatever situation they're in. So you might as well have a presence there, doing whatever you do outside of social media, because that's what people are going to see it. So that's really how I look at it. And regardless of whether you like it or not, it makes sense to put a lot of effort into it.
And the more content that you get out there, the more you'll find what is good and what's not good. And I feel like we all have like our day-to-day life. Everyone has different things in their life that they do, and social media is a good way to inspire others by just sharing what you do every day on social media. and then you'll see like either if it's a personal brand, a firm, or a tech company, a company, or anything like that. You'll find what's good and then what's not good by posting a lot, and that's the main thing is getting the content out there.
It's trial and error too. You're not going to know right away what works for you and what works for your audience too. Is learning what your audience wants and how they engage with that, looking at your stats and metrics, and then kind of going and tweaking what you're doing.
Yeah, and I literally think consistency is the only thing that matters. Like your content can be terrible.
But if it's constantly terrible,
But if it's constantly terrible,
You'll
more
figure it
people
out.
are going to see it.
Yeah.
And you're going to adjust regardless. It's just going to be human nature, and it'll turn all right in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, consistency for sure.
Consistency, definitely, but how about creating like good engaging content? Like how would you go about with that? Like especially with the different platforms you guys all have as well.
That's a byproduct of consistency. Like if you do it over and over again, and you mess around on different platforms, and you make sure your content's optimized for every platform, which is also super important. Like the same thing that you put on Instagram isn't worthy of putting it on YouTube or putting it on LinkedIn or putting it on Twitter or wherever. It just doesn't make sense. So you have to be constantly adjusting and optimizing it for each platform. And I think creating good engaging content is a byproduct of being aware of what platform it's going on and what's culturally relevant at that time.
And then from posting a lot, you'll see where the engagement's going and what's doing well and what's not doing well. And the more you post, the more you get out there, then you'll be able to like facilitate like, oh, this type of content on this platform is doing well, and I'm just gonna keep doing that.
yeah, and you want to understand what type of engagement you're looking for. So if you're looking for views, you want to make sure that whatever the first 10, 15 seconds is actually draws in the audience. Or if you're looking for likes, it's something that is easy to like, it's easy to absorb right away. Or if you're looking for comments, are you asking sort of call to action? Are you asking a question? Are you engaging your community into participating in that content?
And the cool thing is not everything that you put out there has to be content that you create. So for example, on your story, Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, it's like what you do every day, like your day-to-day life. And cool things can come from that. So for example, I know you guys seen like LeBron's Taco Tuesday, stuff like that. That's engaging content that people find funny and cool because he does it every day, or like every Tuesday consistently. And something viral came from that, and it helps grow his brand.
Yeah, I think you should try to start as many trends as possible.
Yeah.
Be like whatever that is, whatever your own little like niche thing is, whatever it has to do with, like let's say it has to do with sneakers, let's say it has to do with something else, just follow that and create that consistently. That's it.
Okay, you say create trends. So what would you say is like your trend or something that you realize works
Something that I mess around with?
Yes.
Like for my personal brand, for instance, I'm running for president. My primary campaign policy is that I'm going to eliminate Mondays. It's a bipartisan issue, so just going to eliminate Mondays, make every weekend a 3-day weekend, and I think I'll do all right. But that's an example of something that you could follow along the lines of your personal brand. It doesn't have to be as extreme as that. I like to be extreme, so it's funny, but I think finding whatever version of that there is for you is the answer.
And what's cool is that everyone's unique in their own way because everyone's life's different. So something that you do consistently every day is and you document that on social media, that can just become a trend in itself.
Yeah.
So then everyone has something different. So it's like if you have a workout in the morning, you can just do like morning workout. Like just certain things from your day can
Become a trend. And
trend.
to something like that you would think is really boring, like, oh, I make a smoothie every morning, but your followers and your community might be like, well, what smoothie are they making? I want to actually like log in every morning and see what smoothie is being made, and then maybe they'll start making that smoothie too.
You gotta make some crazy smoothies.
Yeah, no, I
Go
can't
viral.
do that.
Yeah.
So you guys talk about getting a niche, doing something that's relevant to you, to your brand, being consistent. What are some things that you guys did in the past that failed, or some mistakes that you made that we can possibly learn from, so that we don't make those same mistakes?
Failure, the list is
Yeah,
so long.
I got a long list. I'll start off with I think at the beginning when I was doing stuff primarily on Facebook, I stayed on Facebook because it was amazing at the time. I had videos that got 50 million views a couple times a month, and that was outstanding. But around that time, Facebook changed their algorithm. So organic reach went way down, and I just decided to stay on the platform and try to tweak it instead of jump to other platforms. which I eventually did back then to Snapchat because that was the best platform at the time, then eventually Instagram after Twitter. But I think that was definitely a mistake that fortunately I caught in the end, but I definitely think holding out on some things that are great on social media is a really bad thing to do because it's constantly changing. The algorithm is changing every week. I mean, just this week they added 9 new countries with their no likes on Instagram. So whatever the implications of that are, it's worth knowing at the very least.
Yeah, and also I see
I can tell you one of my mistakes is when I first launched, selfies were still really big, and we were big on Instagram, so this was about 4 years ago. We were getting people to take selfies. But having women take selfies in their underwear was not so big 4 years ago, but that's really what I wanted because I didn't want to have to make content every single day. So I was really trying to get women to take photos of themselves in their bra and underwear, post it on Instagram. And I personally wasn't doing it myself, which is, not really great because I'm asking my community to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So then once I started posting selfies of myself in my underwear in a mirror, everyone else started doing the same thing, and now we have user-generated content that basically is half of our content that we post. So I don't have to worry about making content. I showed my community what I want them to do, and I was empowered by doing it, and so they started doing it as well. And now we have a full community that is rallying around something that was sort of, something no one wanted to do, and really thought about posting themselves half naked on Instagram. And now, if you're, in charge of the lens and the camera, then it's great.
And you just ask people to post it and tag you in it?
Yeah, ask them, when you buy our product, post a selfie in our underwear, and let's see how great you feel, and see what your room looks like in the edges of the mirror. And people get really creative with their selfies now. It's pretty awesome.
Sweet. And I think, well, now I remember, but going back to, I started Instagram 4 years ago, which was a pretty early time. And back then, growth was you would grow a lot just because there wasn't the community, basketball community and sports community wasn't so densely populated. And something Buster does really well is he posts a lot every day. And posting a lot of content is something I didn't start doing until about a year and a half ago. And ever since I post a lot of content, I just learned a lot because I would always try to make content, making it, and I wouldn't have time. But when you post a lot of content, then you'll grow a lot more because more people will share with their friends. You'll learn from that, and then from posting a lot of content, you'll grow, and you can use that to reach out to different people and stuff. But definitely, content is number one. Just a lot of content.
Yep. The more you post, the more people see it.
So, follow up on that then. For, let's say, athletes especially, you say to post often, post a lot of content. What if they have their day jobs, they have their sport to do?
So the thing is, we all have what people don't see, especially with athletes, is that they put in a lot of work and a lot of time into their sport. And I feel like finding a content creator for an athlete is actually, some people may think it's pretty hard, but what I've realized is as an athlete you have a lot of reach. And if you reach out if you DM a photographer, let's say, or you have photographers on your team, they will more than likely respond. I mean, they're definitely going to respond. You're a professional athlete, but they would love to document that process, everyday process of your nutrition, your workouts, and posting all that content. People never see that, and then when they see that along with what the highlights that you do in the NBA, getting someone to put, I never really see NBA players post their highlights on their pages, maybe because they don't want to show off or anything, but it's really a documentation, not showing off. Documenting your life is what social media is for, and the cool thing about it is a platform that when you document your life, you're opening it up to a bigger audience. And when you do that, more people get inspired, and people want to follow your brand more. They see they see your face all over their feed, and on any platform. So the more you post and the more you document your process, people are going to want to follow you, and look at you, and see you.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and I think part of it too is just keeping your eyes open. The amount of user-generated content for every athlete, every player in the NBA is crazy. People just do it because they like to do it, and then the content for any NBA player is just out there. You guys can find it. It's just there. You just gotta keep your eyes open. And that's free user-generated content, let alone hitting up these basketball accounts that would be more than willing to commit an hour a day to making content for you for free.
So you guys basically saying to do collaborations and partnerships.
Collaborations,
create
for sure.
everything. That's awesome.
And it's super, super simple.
If you DM someone, they're gonna respond. Like, there's no question.
Always
about
slide into the DMs. It's always a great place.
Okay, so earlier you guys talked about trying to beat like algorithms, how they're constantly changing, and you mentioned how you're on Facebook, you're doing really well, and all of a sudden it just stopped.
Yeah.
So social media, it's definitely changing. Where do you think it's headed with respect to like different social media platforms? Just what direction do you think it's going?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a crazy change as far as platforms are concerned in a couple of years. I mean, YouTube, in my opinion, is still number one as far as user attention, as far as time spent on the app, as far as actual brand growth. Because like, let's say you take a YouTuber who has 10 million subscribers, right? Their Instagram, their Facebook, their Twitter, Snapchat, and everything is going to be huge as a byproduct of that. Whereas you find people on Instagram with a couple of million followers, they can't convert 5,000 subscribers to YouTube. YouTube is the most powerful platform by a mile. And I think they're really cool new emerging platforms. We were all talking about it earlier backstage, but TikTok is a really interesting platform. It's one of the easiest platforms to grow on right now because of the accessibility through hashtags. So, and I think what's also interesting about that is the implications it has on the music world too. So TikTok, for those that don't know, is pretty much a video only version of Instagram where you put music over the top of short videos. Kind of like Vine meets Instagram, but it's just video, meets like every record label's dream because it's free streams for every song. And what's really interesting about it now as a platform is that it's super easy to get discovered because you use a song, you're automatically number one for that song right after you drop it. So the discovery is super easy and people spend hours and hours and hours on it, and they have the demographic that every advertiser wants, so there's a lot of money being poured in.
Yeah, I think another thing that we saw a trend of is when Instagram started, it was a lot of like in the moment photos that weren't so perfected, and then it went to everything's photoshopped, it's all, you know, the right filter, the right color, everything matches. Now we're sort of going back into sharing what's actually real, what's authentic, and what's happening in real life. Unless you're a photographer and you're trying to show that you're actually a good photographer and you can shoot really great photos, try to show things that are actually real and happening. So the day-to-day that may seem boring, shoot that, share that, and then it gives a more personal connection with your community and your audience, especially when you're one person trying to build that relationship and connection. You don't want to seem unattainable or out of reach. You want to seem like you actually have a lot in common with the people that are following you.
All right, we don't have much time, so I thought we should open up the floor to some questions before we wrap it up. Any questions?
Do we have a single question?
So inspired? No pressure.
No question.
Honestly, like y'all, that just opened up a lot of light on y'all experience of going through it. Like, because I'm trying to, like, in a sense, we're trying to grow a brand. Everybody's always trying to grow something, and Instagram is, of course, the way to grow your brand nowadays and stuff. If you want to grow a clothing line, so I thank y'all for sharing light of saying that failing.
Lots
It's
of
like y'all did a lot of that, because at the end of the day, like, we don't, as athletes, we don't like to fail. We hate failing in a sense. So Instagram, we may not want to do it because it's like, yo, we're failing if we don't get a certain amount of likes.
Publicly,
or
too.
we're failing if we don't get a certain amount of views.
You gotta fail upward.
Yeah.
You gotta use that
and
failing
I
as
think-
momentum.
Yeah, I don't need this. Yeah, thank y'all for that. Like, so thank y'all for sharing y'all stories, and thank y'all for putting light on, like, yo, it's okay to fail in a sense, especially on Instagram, because at the end of the day, you may not have 1 million followers or 17 is plus like LeBron and all that. You may have like my number's 500,000, or you may have even lower than that.
Yeah.
Like, but at the end of the day, like, if you grow something and you're showing people, your fan base will grow. So
It's all about the community aspect. So like reaching back to your followers and creating a strong community. And I feel like with that, it grows on that. Your brand grows with that because then people want to see what you're posting every day. When you're growing that community and that personable relationships with these people, DMing them, doing giveaways, certain things like that. And then from that, everything you post, just more people will share it, more people will like you,
You repost people's, if they post some stories, you repost that, everyone's gonna want to put you in a story. So like, oh my gosh, she can post my stories, it's amazing.
I say have fun.
Right.
Did you?
I'm curious to know your opinion on that. So you talked about posting often. I feel like it worked in the past years or so. Like for example, over time, just keep posting like non-stop. I don't know how many times a day.
Yeah, I used to.
For me, it gets annoying because I can't see anything else from like my friends, from who I really care about. And I'm wondering, like, it's oversaturated now. If we talk about Instagram, do you think that posting like really often, like you mentioned, will be the trend in a year, or people will get kind of tired of it? So if one specific athlete keep posting, will people really care, or they will care more about an athlete who's posting maybe twice, 3 times a week, but really like content that they know the audience will like, their training and being consistent on posting 3 times a week?
Yeah, so it's the constant battle of quantity versus quality, and the best of both is always the best. So however close you can get to that, like the reason Overtime did super well is because they hit both. You know?
I think you want to post a lot on stories because people just open up stories and watch them seamlessly. It never exit. You could be like moving through life while having stories going, but you want to post on your feed more important content that people might want to come back for, send to a friend, save, because stories disappear in 24 hours. So that's just like life stuff that's happening, but I think that's maybe a good shot or an event that's coming up you want to post on your feed.
Yeah, but if the content's there, post it all.
So we've gone over our time, so I want to thank our panelists, and if you guys have future questions for them, they'll be around.